Welcome to the Three Martini Lunch. Grab a stool next to Greg Columbus of Radio America and Jim Garrity of National Review. Three Martinis coming up.
So glad you're here for the Friday edition of the Three Martini Lunch. I trust you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with your family, your friends, whoever you were able to gather with this year. As Jim said on Wednesday, so much nicer to be with one another face-to-face than on screens, as so many were for Thanksgiving 2020. So inching, maybe even stepping back towards normal, hopefully next year. COVID will be blissfully in the rearview mirror. But today, of course, is Black Friday. Jim, I don't believe that you were at Walmart or anywhere else at 6 a.m. this morning elbowing people out of the way for various things. I certainly wasn't. I don't do anything at 6 a.m. But today is our Black Friday special. As we mentioned earlier in the week, each year on the day after Thanksgiving, we talk about the gifts that we would like to give to various political figures. Oftentimes, they're not very serious, and I have a feeling that'll be the case again this year, but it's a heck of a lot of fun. So, Jim, again, hopefully your family had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Who gets your first Black Friday gift?
Greg, in the spirit of this holiday season, I'm attempting to turn over a new leaf, and in fact, all of my gifts are for political figures on the other side of the aisle from me. But I feel like I can make their lives better. I can make the country a better place. So yeah, the guy who's been front and center and featured in our bad martinis throughout the year, President Joe Biden. I know it's been a rough year. I know you've had a lot of criticism, most of it well earned, but you know what? I do recognize you have a tough job, and I want to make things a little easier for you. And no, I'm not going to say resign or something like that. I know that he recently had his checkup, and the doctor told us he's in perfect health for a 79-year-old man. Perfect mental health. But look, we all have parents or folks who are grandparents getting up to those years. Things aren't as easy as they used to be. The body just doesn't do what it wants to do. So I've decided to get the president the clapper. I just figure everything from the Oval Office lights to turning on his computer to all the stuff that he might need to do in the course of a day. Just a little bit of clap on, clap off. The only thing I ask the president is that he not hook it up to the button. Because, he comes out, he announces he's repealing some idiotic policy. Everybody reacts. And before you know it, we've nuked Russia and China. So that would be bad. But otherwise, Mr. President, I want you to be able to take it easy in 2022. Maybe, try to pass less bad legislation. Just rest a little bit. Maybe that won't be such a bad, maybe things will turn out a little better for you.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, the biggest debacle for the Biden administration this year obviously was Afghanistan, I think is safe to say. But there's a long list of debacles. The border's right up there, too, as well as where we're heading with inflation and supply chain crisis and all the others. But I think Afghanistan is the one that really woke the American people up to the incompetence of this administration. And so many different points during that fiasco, Jim. We're like, what is going on with these people? I mean, you literally had Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, earlier in the year saying, well, look, whatever happens, even if the Taliban comes back, it's not going to be like on a Friday, one government's in control, and by Monday, the Taliban's in control, which is exactly what happened. You had Biden in July saying that the Taliban's it's not a given. They're going to take over, and it's certainly not going to happen all that quickly. And then on and on and on. Every promise, we're going to get every American citizen and even beyond that out by August 31st. Well, that didn't happen. And so then you had the drone strike, which killed the kids and the guy who was an aid worker and not the terrorist. And so every step along the way, you're like, do any of these people have a clue? And Jim, you can't really buy clues, but you can buy them Clue the board game. And so that's who I'm getting for Anthony Blinken, General Milley, Secretary Austin, President Biden, Vice President Harris. And I know that in the board game of Clue, there's no option for it to be the Taliban in Kabul with American weapons. But maybe we'll help them figure out the next foreign policy crisis before it completely blows up in their face.
To say that, you may not have a clue, but you can go out and buy a clue. There you go. That sounds pretty good.
That's exactly. All right. Well, in the meantime, you get a little bit of downtime over the holidays, even if you're president or a high-ranking government official. Maybe you just need better cookware to cook up a feast, and that's where Made in Cookware comes in. If quality and craftsmanship are important to you, you really need to check out Made In. Made In is a cookware and a kitchenware brand that works with renowned chefs and artisans to produce some of the world's best pots, pans, and wine glasses. Love my stainless steel Made In skillet. I use it to make the scrambled eggs. My wife uses it for a variety of different dishes. She'll sear in the pan, then pop it in the oven, depending on what the dish is, and it all comes out just wonderfully. Kudos, of course, to Mrs. Columbus for her cooking skills, but also she loves the Made In pan, so that's why I can confidently give it a thumbs up too.
Made In produces professional quality cookware for those who love to cook. They source the finest materials and partner with renowned craftsmen to make premium kitchen tools available directly to you without the markup. Made In products are made to last, and they offer a lifetime guarantee. Their cookware distributes heat evenly and can easily go from the stovetop to the oven. They have more than 40,000 five-star reviews. You think about that, that's like 200,000 stars. And their products are used by some of the world's best chefs at Michelin-starred restaurants all around the world. Made In is better cookware for better meals.
And right now, Made In is offering our listeners 15% off your first order with the promo code Martini. That is the best discount available anywhere online for Made In products. Go to madeincookware.com/Martini and use the promo code Martini for 15% off your first order. That's madeincookware.com/Martini. Use the promo code Martini. All right, Jim, on to your second Black Friday gift. Who gets it and what is it?
Now, this one might seem mean, but I take it from me, listeners, I really do mean well. This really has, kind of crossed over from I don't like this person, and they're experiencing great difficulties in their job, and they're running into every possible problem, and it feels like they're stepping on rakes all the time, I almost feel bad for this person. So Vice President Kamala Harris, you've had a really rough 2021. I want you to have a better year, not in being politically, more effective, but maybe you could, considering you're a heartbeat away from the presidency, and, President Clapper might need you to step up into the top job. I do want you to be better at, leading the country. I am getting Vice President Kamala Harris a copy of Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Getting the feeling she hasn't read it, and I imagine it's hard to believe it could do any worse. So, at minimum, give it a try, read, see what you absorb, because lately it feels like she doesn't have a friend in Washington. She certainly doesn't seem to have much influence. She goes to Central America. Central Americans don't come. They don't pay any attention to her. They don't listen to her. And of course, the only thing worse than what are being said about her by the Republicans on Capitol Hill and around Washington are what are being said about her from members of the Biden administration when they're leaking to Politico and Washington Post and CNN and places like that. So she's really had a rough year. Good luck, Kamala Harris. I hope you can win some friends, although maybe not influence people in 2022.
Wow, good choice. Yeah, Kamala needs some help. I don't know if there's a book called How Not to Giggle Every Time You Enter an Awkward Part of the Conversation, but that would probably do her some good too. But yeah, she's at 28% in one poll. But it's all racism and sexism from the same country that, elected Barack Obama twice. So it's clearly the only factor that's at work there. But yeah, She showed us what she's capable of during the campaign. Even the Democrats wanted nothing to do with that. Biden picks her anyway, and shock of all shocks, she's still pretty low in the polls. So we'll see where she is in a few months or over the course of the next year. But Jim, I almost thought you were going to give my gift idea for my second one to Kamala Harris, because you mentioned the word stepping on rakes. That was my phrase for every different mistake that Terry McAuliffe made during the home stretch of his gubernatorial campaign in Virginia. Literally could not have gone worse for him or better for Glenn Youngkin, whether it was him going on TV and the anchorwoman asking him, so explain what you think critical race theory is. And all he could say is, it's not being taught. It's not being taught. Not being taught. And then, of course, the big moment in the debate where he said that parents shouldn't be telling schools what to teach, and just on and on and on. He just literally stepped on political rakes, not real rakes, political rakes all over the place. And it caught up with him in what was basically becoming a blue state. He found a way to lose. Biden's unpopularity certainly helped. But because of that phrase I kept using over and over again, I'm going to go over to the hardware store and get a rake for Terry McAuliffe. If we weren't in such a dire time of inflation, I might even hire a yard service because, he lives up there in McLean and that can get pretty pricey. So I'm just going to give him a rake. He's got the free time now. I'm sure, I know Biden's looking for a spot for him in the administration for some reason. I don't know why. But as long as he's currently looking for work, he'll have time to rake up all those leaves in his yard. And so I figure a little help from the hardware store wouldn't hurt.
Good choice there, Greg. Good choice. I didn't get anything for Terry McAuliffe this year. He shouldn't get his hopes up for next year either.
All right. Well, Terry McAuliffe, I don't think he needs a lot of help on the financial front. He's done very well at raising money over the years. But look, everybody right now with our current financial instability with the value of the dollar and so forth needs a little help with their portfolio. And that's where Universal Coin and Bullion can certainly help. The price of silver, for example, has increased 340% since 2000, and it continues trending higher, which is impressive in two different ways. First of all, it's up 340%, and secondly, it's been doing that for more than 2 decades now, so it seems like a pretty darn stable investment. So if you want to learn more and you want to start diversifying that portfolio, head over to Universal Coin and Bullion.
Universal Coin and Bullion is offering our listeners a special locked-in price of just $30 for a beautiful 1-ounce 2021 American Silver Eagle coin, which just happens to be the most popular coin in the world for collectors and investors. Now, this limited offer is available at dealer's cost because Universal Coin wants you to own the first newly designed silver bullion coin since President Reagan signed the Gold Bullion Act back in 1985. Call Universal Coin, leaders in the precious metals industry, at 1-800-UCB-GOLD to get your beautiful U.S. Mint silver coin for just $30. Postage is free, and you'll be dealing with the experts.
The company's president, Dr. Mike Fulgens, is recognized by our government as America's gold expert, and he is the 2021 Coin Dealer of the Year. They also have rare coins, but this special silver deal is only available by using our code Martini. So call 800-UCB-GOLD. That's 800-UCB-GOLD, and don't forget the code word Martini. All right, Jim, on to our third and final political gifts for 2021. What do you got?
Well, after taking care of President Biden and Vice President Harris, it was a little bit of a challenge. Who else in the cabinet or Democrats on Capitol Hill do I want to help out? And this is honestly a product I've used myself. I found it really useful. It's been a long time since I necessarily needed it. But for Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, I'm getting him the book about the 5 S's, which is a way to rock your child to sleep. There's the gentle swaying, the shushing, and all these different steps that are designed to help calm down a crying baby and get a crying baby to sleep. Because look, let's face it, new parents need their sleep, and apparently, you look at some of the decisions that have come out of the Department of Transportation lately. Besides his several months of paternity leave that he took as the supply chain crisis was getting worse. Greg, I noticed the other day that the Department of Transportation says you don't need to be vaccinated to get on a plane, but you do need to be vaccinated to work for the U.S. Forest Service outdoors. I look at decisions like that, and I think the secretary might be a little sleep deprived. I do think that Pete Buttigieg should get a good night's sleep. He and Jason, I wish him every happiness in the world. Parenthood is a great joy. So yes, the 5 S's will help. And if you happen to be a parent with a newborn back there, that worked very well for myself and my wife. So that's my little bit to help out Pete Buttigieg, and because we don't want him to sleep through any additional crises.
Well, I don't know. His handling of the current one hasn't exactly been stellar. I mean, he spent more time talking about racist bridges than he has about the supply chain crisis. But yeah, maybe that's due to sleep deprivation. So he could potentially use that. So, Jim, I was torn on my third one. I almost got the collected works of Calvin and Hobbes for local officials dealing with COVID policy, especially the comic strips on Calvin Ball. Because the deals, the rules keep changing and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But instead, I'm going to give pocket constitutions. I'm going to gobble up a ton of pocket constitutions and hand them out to everybody who has any sort of authority over at the FBI. Just this year, with the FBI, we've had the Counterterrorism Division putting threat tags on parents for getting rowdy at school board meetings. More and more and more this year, thanks to the Durham investigation and others, we've realized that the Russia collusion allegation back from the 2016 campaign was built on a whole house of card lies. We also had the revelation this year that the FBI ignored the Nassar investigation. Remember the gymnast doctor who kept molesting everybody anybody. They just kind of put it on the back burner and treated the gymnasts themselves horribly. Then there was the story of how the FBI infiltrated what they would consider the radical folks in Michigan, and it seems like mostly FBI informants that suggested the assassination plot that the FBI eventually foiled. So that seems to be very convoluted as well. And so the FBI just seems to be getting more political, going after folks for their free speech, sometimes for their free press. That stuff's protected by the Constitution. I just wanted to remind them of that. So from Chris Wray to Merrick Garland to everybody over there, just a little bit of a refresher on what the whole point of their organization is.
That's a excellent choice there, Greg. And, I hope they don't lose it. I hope they don't misplace them like they sometimes misplace evidence and things like that. But hey, look, I think both Agents Johnson will appreciate that.
Well, they needed it too, as it turns out. Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll reconvene for our regular fare on Monday.
See you Monday, Greg.
Jim Garrity, National Review. I'm Greg Corombos, Radio America. Thanks so much for being with us. Do subscribe to the 3 Martini Lunch podcast. Always grateful for your reviews and your 5-star ratings. Get us on those home devices. All you have to say is play 3 Martini Lunch podcast. Follow us on Twitter also. He's at Jim Garrity. I'm at Dateline_DC. Have a great weekend and join us again on Monday for the next 3 Martini Lunch. Hi, this is Greg Corombos, and I'm here with Dr. Mike Fulgens, the president of Universal Coin and Bullion. He was recently named the 2021 Dealer of the Year by the American Numismatic Association. Mike, let's talk counterfeiting. The Mint has recently released newly designed gold and silver coins that are becoming popular, which means there's a pretty good chance some folks in China or elsewhere will try to counterfeit them. How can consumers protect themselves?
Well, we do have newly designed gold bullion and silver bullion coins by the U.S. Mint. They redesigned the reverses of the American Gold Eagle and American Silver Eagle. And you need to deal with a reputable dealer, one that's received awards like we have for Best Dealer Publications or Dealer of the Year by organizations like the American Numismatic Association or the Numismatic Literary Guild. And you want to make sure that that dealer has the expertise and the business sense to check prices and to make sure you get the right quality at the right price. Finding the right dealer is the key in this rising gold and silver market, where I see it increasing 10 to 30% in the next year due to the increasing debt in this country and increasing inflation. It's the right time to buy gold.
Dr. Mike Fulgens is recognized as America's gold expert by the U.S. government. Contact Mike and his team of professionals at Universal Coin and Bullion to own your gold and silver coins now. Call 1-800-UCB-GOLD.